and welcome. A beatboxer, an MC, a musician, an entrepreneur. We have with us Vineeth Vincent. Hello Vineeth.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing?
Very good, thank you. It's a sunny afternoon, but I'm good. I'm good. It's quite hot, but I'm good.
All right. So, what is beatboxing? I'm pretty sure not all of us know what it is.
Okay. So beatboxing is basically you use your voice, you use your mouth, and you make beats out of them, and you make music out of it. Would you like to hear a little?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's beats.
Wow.
And then you add sounds
Yes.
like and you add more and more sounds to it. So that's
Oh.
beatboxing.
Actually going to teach you how to beatbox. We're going to change things a little. So if you've heard a beatbox on stage, a lot of people think that these things can't be done. So I'm going to teach you how to beatbox. Very quickly, can everyone say the word two? Two. Now when you say two, you say it like you're spitting on someone. Two. Two. Now when you do that, you forget the voice and you use only the sound. Try it. That's sound number one. Sound number two are the hi-hats. It sounds like this. Tss. Or tss, tss. Very short. Tss, tss, tss. The third sound is the snare. It sounds like this. Perfect. What was sound number one? Sound number two. Tss. Sound number three. Okay? You put three simple sounds together, it starts sounding like a beatbox. For example, and that's simple beatboxing. Those were the three sounds. Other sounds that you can use in beatboxing are simple words. For example, can you say wow? Wow, wow. You know when you were little kids, all of us made this stupid sound. We all went, right? So a simple sound like, right? So that simple sound, when you keep practicing it, it's going to sound like this. For example, say wow. Wow, wow. Wow. Wow, wow. And then you add a beat to it. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 Okay, so the next sound that we used to make as little kids was, right? If you tighten your lips a little bit, it's going to sound like this. It's the same sound. And you add a beat to it. Simple beats, simple sounds. And this is sort of how you learn how to beatbox.
Wow, I'm smitten.
Okay.
So, how did it all start?
It started when I couldn't exactly make it as a musician, so I tried making it as the guy who would sit and play the guitar and sing. But unfortunately, the money with something like that wasn't very sustainable for me. This is back in 2006, 2007, after which I sort of realized I could make it as a musician, as an MC, not as a musician, as an MC. And I started working with a bunch of event management companies, hosting live events for them. And I used to host their events, MC their events. And somewhere down the line, the little musical side of me caught up with the little MC side of me, and turned out to be beatboxing. And it's been an interesting journey so far. So I started fooling around with sounds, let's say in 2007, and started professionally beatboxing in 2008.
Okay, so I guess it was around 9 years ago,
Yeah.
10 years ago. So I think you were one of the first beatboxers in the country.
Ones that, yeah, I
One of
guess
the first,
maybe.
Yeah, because back then not all of us knew what beatboxing was. Until I saw your show in Christ, I didn't know what beatboxing was. Then I realized, okay, there is something called as beatboxing.
Was
and
this
then
in the auditorium?
yes, in the auditorium.
Okay. So the funny thing is, every time I did shows in Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, a lot in Bangalore, and I never came across another beatboxer who was doing this professionally.
Yes.
There were people who could make these sounds, but I didn't meet anyone who was doing it professionally back then. Also did a bunch of Google searches, no one turned up. So
Yeah.
this is back in the day.
So yeah, you were technically the first in the country.
Maybe. There's no way to completely clarify that, but yeah, maybe. But yeah.
Around 6-7 years back in Christ, you created a Limca world record.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
So-
I created it, but thousands of students came together
Yes.
to actually create.
I was one of them.
Yeah. So there were two actually. There was one with the Limca Book of Records, and there was
Yeah.
one with the Guinness
Guinness.
Book of World
Yeah.
Records. So the Guinness World Record stood at 1,246 people beatboxing at the same time, and the Limca record stood at 2,136 people beatboxing at the same time.
Okay.
And people keep telling me I did this, but honestly I didn't. I was the director of this event, and there were honestly thousands of people who actually came and took part in the event, which is
Yes.
why we have the record for the most number of people beatboxing at the same time. And I had one of the most brilliant crews helping me
Yeah.
put this together. I had 13 people from Christ University who actually came together to build the entire back end and make sure that event went, that the event was successful.
Yeah.
And the management also supported us in a very, very big way.
Right. So back then I was not a student in Christ.
Okay.
I had already graduated. Yeah, you were there. That was the first time I was in one of your shows, and I loved it. Really, I'm so glad to be one of the 2,000 and odd people.
Yeah. So you had your chest number and all of that?
Yes.
Very cool. Do you remember the other Vineeth who also beatboxed with me? We did this little duet at the end where
Yes.
I beatboxed and he beatboxed.
Yeah. Everything about that event was amazing, because it was the first time I was listening to something like that, and loved it.
Hopefully we can do one more of those events very soon, because the official record for Guinness currently stands, I think, close to 5,000 people beatboxing at the same time.
Okay.
And that was taken almost a year after we did ours, and India still hasn't claimed it back. So I think it's about time. It's about time we claimed it back.
So I want to be a part of that as well.
Give you a call.
And even most of our viewers also would be a part of
100%. Let's call all of them.
Cool. All right. So how many shows have you done so far?
So that's such a difficult number to actually, it's difficult to get the accurate number, but approximately over 1,200 shows so far. 1,200 paid shows. I don't count the unpaid shows, but 1,200 paid shows is what I think.
Around the country, around the world.
I've never done a gig out of India.
Okay.
I've gotten a lot of offers, but financially it never made sense to me. And I'm all about making a living, making money.
Yeah.
This is my job at the end
Yeah.
of the day. So it doesn't make sense if I'm going to a different country and not making money, because I still have to pay rent, I still have to pay bills at the end of the month. So I've never left the country to do a gig outside. Hopefully this is the year I do it, maybe 2 countries.
Oh.
Yeah, but in India is my
Over
biggest market.
1,200 shows in India. Wow. That is like a huge number.
But I've been doing for so long, right? So this is 2007, started in 2008. So yeah, this is including a few of the MC gigs where I used to beatbox at and all of
Okay.
that. So yeah.
Cool. So tell us about your MCing. How did you become an MC? Like you said, your beatboxing started through MCing.
Yeah.
Right. So how did MCing
So
start?
funnily, I've never picked up the mic in college or before college and spoken. I've always sung on the mic. So when it actually came down to speaking, I was very awkward and very weird with things. I don't know if you know MJ Pijosh. Do you know?
Yes, I do.
So Pijosh was conducting these auditions one day for MCing and in Christ, funnily. And I auditioned to be an MC and I did so badly. Like I couldn't even speak properly and I was so intimidated, which is very weird because I was always comfortable on stage ever since I was a kid. And then during 2007, I also saw this other MC named MC Mitten, who was MCing in Forum. And I was doing a promotion in Forum at the same time with another event management company. And he did such a brilliant job at MCing, and he did an entire week. So I saw him there for 7 days. And I looked at him and I said, this is what I do on a daily basis. And the funny thing is, as soon as I pick up a mic, that's not what comes naturally to me. So I think I had to sort of change the way I approached speaking on a mic. And as soon as I did, it was quite simple for me. I was at an event where this event manager said, by the way, I used to help out events. Do you know what a promoter is in an event? Back in the day, you used to get paid 250, 300 rupees to go carry stuff, go give it to the MC, little gift hampers, run at the back, make sure this and that is done.
Yeah.
So I used to do that kind of work between 2005, 6 and 7.
Okay.
So
This was when you were a student?
Yeah, when I was a student. I used to, after college, I used to go and do work like this. So at one of these events, the guy's son, the MC didn't show up. And the event manager said, we really have to make these announcements. And he said, you have good English, why don't you come and actually make these announcements? And I said, okay. And I picked up the mic. He said, are you afraid of the stage? I said, no, I don't think so. I think I'm okay. And he gave me the mic, gave me the sheet. I went through the sheet a few times and I made the announcements. And he said, that's actually very good. You should do this for a living. So I was like, So I got in touch.
So that's where the light was
the light bulb switched on. And I got in touch with a few people that I've been working with. They linked me to other people. That's also when I met this gentleman named Tanveer Ahmed, who was Tanveer Ahmed and Asif, MC Asif, two people who helped me get my career as an MC and also as a beatboxer up and running. And I think it's very important to have the first 2-3 supporters who actually believe in you to just help you push you out there. And these two people did exactly that.
So I read that you were into music from your childhood, right? You were singing and competitions from LKG. So how was your childhood with music?
My childhood with music. So I wouldn't say, so I'll talk about this in general. As I was growing up, my family always told me I could sing really well and I could dance really well. When I reached college, when I reached Christ College, I actually saw people who could actually dance, and then I realized what I was doing was not dancing but making a complete fool of myself. But families will always say, oh, how cute, he's so good at this. You're going to be a very good dancer when you grow up, but it's all lies, right? But the one thing they didn't lie to me about was my ability to sing, and I actually think I could sing really well because I won every single competition from my LKG till my 8th, I think. 8th was the first time I lost a singing competition, but that's because I tried something that was very, very difficult and I messed it up. But my 9th and my 10th, once again, I won it. So I was, so that's something that's always been consistent. And another thing that's also been consistent is I've always been very comfortable on stage. So that's has been with me since I was growing up.
Yeah.
I think just modifying that a little bit to being an MC was pretty easy for me.
Yeah, there are a lot of people like you who want to do a lot of things when it comes to entertainment, like MCing or even beatboxing, for example. My brother, my own younger brother, is so inspired by you. At home, he just keeps doing it. He watches your video, he just starts doing it on his own.
But
he's around 19 now.
Yeah.
But he started, he started following you long back, actually, around 3-4 years ago. Yeah, but every time he used to do that at home, my mom would be like, "Whoa, what are you doing, man? Why are you creating this noise? Shut up." So that's how it was. But now she is used to it and he keeps trying. So how does it feel like you have inspired so many youngsters who look up to you, who want to be like you? How does that feel?
It's obviously flattering, I can't lie. So it's definitely an ego boost to see a lot of young people do that for me. And I'm quite thankful and I feel quite blessed to actually be in this position. But at the same time, it's also a lot of pressure because there's always a pressure to do the right thing, to make sure that your show is amazing. And there's that side of the business that people don't see. So there's the hardworking side of the business that people don't understand, because to be successful as a musician, to have a career like this, there's a lot of background work that goes into it. So that mixed with the pressure from the people is not the best combination, but it's not the worst combination either. I'm so thankful I have a job like this that a lot of people would kill for, right?
Exactly.
So I'm so thankful to be in this space.
So what are the different challenges that you've faced in when it comes to music and beatboxing?
Are you talking about the industry or the music side of things?
Both.
Okay, we'll start with the industry. The industry in India is huge. It's massive. Like entertainment is massive in India,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, just like almost every other thing in India, it's filled with corruption. So
Really?
yeah, it is. It's filled with corruption. It's filled with a lot of people who are trying to make a quick buck. Who are just like how you have you came on these roads. You saw how crappy these roads are, right? So this is something that you know is the biggest sign of corruption. The
Yeah.
roads. Something very similar exists in the music industry, where
That
it's
is surprising, actually.
it's not surprising to me, but yeah, I've been in this for a really long time, and I mean, a really long time compared to my age. There are also people who have been around for a lot longer, but it's very difficult to be a successful musician and be successful in the entertainment industry without being with the corruption. And I think a lot of times I think because I haven't gone with the corruption, that I haven't gone so far ahead with my career.
Okay.
Right, when you take a hard stand against these things, it also is a hard stand against your career moving
Yeah.
forward. So that is something I'm always struggling with on a constant basis. A majority of it revolves around money. Majority of it. And there's so much of money going in black on a constant basis that it's so difficult to keep a track of. And that's one thing I consistently struggle with. The second thing in the industry that I struggle with is the fake sense of being successful. Because there are lots of beatboxers out there who are way more talented than me, who are trying to make it, and who are doing free shows on a constant basis.
Oh.
Right? So I get a call, they say, hey, we want to book you for a show. I said, okay. They say, we have seen you here, we've seen you there, we loved your show. I said, thank you very much. And they'll say, how much do you charge? And I'll tell them this much. They say, oh, we don't have that budget. And I'll say, okay, but that's my budget. Then they say, but this guy is willing to do it for free. I'll say, but please go in and get that guy to do it for free. Then, so it's very difficult to get over something like that. So I think that is problem number 2.
Yeah, even I have faced it too.
Okay.
I mean, when I started off as a voice artist, I mean, I've lost so many gigs because of people who are willing to do it for free, right? So I don't understand. I mean, why aren't artists respected as much?
Well, it's because I think artists don't respect themselves to begin with. People don't respect themselves enough to begin with, because everyone's trying to make the fast buck. Everyone's trying to get as famous as possible, as quickly as possible, which is not sustainable at all, right? You're going to be doing thousands of free shows until you maybe make it famous one day. But you may not make it famous also. So the odds of you becoming famous doing a bunch of free shows, as opposed to you being consistent with your work and getting paid for your work and doing a slow development, I think it makes more sense to do that rather than just do a bunch of free gigs or free work for someone and hope that you get famous someday, right?
Yeah.
And what musicians need to understand, that this is not about getting famous. It's about creating art. It's about creating music. It's about doing what you love doing, right? If you get famous along the way, that's a byproduct. It's not the main focus. It should never be the main focus. Otherwise, you're going to do things for the wrong reasons.
True. A lot of people fail to understand this simple fact these days. Yeah, even I've come to realize that after a long time.
But there are going to be a lot of people who are just going to keep doing this for free for a very long time to come. And that
That
goes
also
back.
kills the real talent, right?
It does. It kills the
Yeah.
talent. It kills the industry, because you're not letting someone else make money. You're not making money, and the industry is going to go down. Also, the people who are booking you for the event have the money, right?
Yeah.
They have the money, and this goes back to the corruption side of things. They have the money. They will lie to the artist saying that they do not have the money, or they're not getting paid that much. So they're like, oh, we're not getting paid so much, but if you do this, I'll give you 10 more shows. I'll give you 5 more shows. And it's something we hear on a regular basis all the time. Which is, they're not going to call you back. The next show, they're going to call, you know what, this also has a bad budget. Unfortunately, I don't have a budget for you. Maybe the next one. And that's how it's going to keep going on and on and on and on, right?
Yeah,
So
that is sad actually.
it's a bad cycle.
You also own your own company, right? So tell us a little about it.
So you're sitting in one of them. This is called the Musical Cubicle. It's a studio space for musicians to do acoustic recordings, to practice, to get together. And it's also slowly evolving to become a production company where we're shooting videos, we're recording audio. So, yeah.
come today, it's too early. If you come tomorrow, it's too late. You pick the time. Tick 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 tick. 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 Darling.
So yeah, this one's called The Musical Cubicle, which I started between 2013 to 2014, before which in 2011 officially I started this company called Sidestep, which manages musicians, which curates live acts, which deals with entertainment primarily. We have a lot of musicians, creative people, and also regular travelers who come to Bangalore and stay with us. And so it's a clean space, it's a vegetarian space, non-alcoholic, no drugs, no cigarettes. So we're a clean sort of a space.
What made you start all this?
When I do a lot of shows as a musician, I also had a lot of free time. So instead of sitting idle, I put my money and my time into other businesses that I hope would get sustainable. And somewhere down the line, I'm trying to create an ecosystem of businesses that work with each other. For example, the Sidestep books musicians, the Musical Cubicle Records musicians, and we give them shows across Bangalore and across India, right? The hostel is where they stay at. They live at the hostel. So we have a lot of foreign musicians who are traveling even now, who come and stay at my hostel. My company manages them, and they record their music here, and they practice and jam here. So that's sort of an ecosystem I'm trying to build. I've been trying to build it for a while. And I come from a middle class family, so which means I don't have the money to do it all at once. So I have to start a little by little.
Yeah, so you have a really good vision, a
Hopefully.
big vision ahead, and
If it's a good vision or not is for time to tell, but yeah, it's a vision nonetheless.
yeah, but seriously, what you're doing, I think musicians really need that, because
Maybe.
hardly, I mean, I'm no musician, but I know that it's very difficult for musicians to sustain, right,
that's
in
right.
the industry or even in the society. Basically, going for shows, they might not get treated right. So, I'm so happy to know that you're doing your bit
Thank you.
to
Means a
people
lot.
like you.
Means a lot.
All right. While all this happened, how did your friends and family support you? Because being from a middle class family, I'm pretty sure, I mean, it's a typical Indian situation where parents would force us to focus on studies and not on anything else. So how was that phase with you?
Well, my parents, my family, initially were skeptic about if this was going to work, because I honestly believe everyone's family wants the best for them. But unfortunately, they want the best for their kids in a way that they understand. And it's not always what the kid wants, right? So that was something I struggled with for a while, but I think as soon as the checks started coming in, as soon as my mother realized I had my feet on the ground and I was doing things productively rather than just running around like one crazed person, she realized that there is a possibility of a career with something like this. So I had to show a lot of responsibility from my end to actually prove that it worked. It was very difficult for 2 years. It took a lot of arguments, a lot of up and down to convince my family, but it finally happened, after which they were 100% behind me. And thankfully, I've had a very supportive family with a lot of things that I did. So it takes them a while to turn around, but once they do, they're 100% behind me. And friends, in college, I've always had my benchmates, my classmates who were super supportive of me, including the management who were always supportive of me. If I missed a class, there were always people to write little notes and give it to me the next day. And if I missed a bunch of things, there were these one or two girls who were so kind enough to put these little chits in my bag to let me know what happened throughout the day. And I would come to college in the morning, I'd leave my bag in class, and I would go out for a fest. I would go beatboxing, and I would come back and I would have this little chit for me stating everything that
so
happened in
sweet.
class. I know, right? So I've had such good friends throughout school and college. I've also had crappy friends. We all have good and crappy friends at the same time. So it's all about taking in the good ones and letting
Yeah.
go of the crappy ones along the way.
True that.
Throughout life, not just school and
All
college.
right. So you do a lot of stuff. Do you have any free time and do you have any hobbies?
None. So the good thing is I turned my hobby into a profession.
Yeah.
So I love
I
music.
expected that.
Yeah, I loved music, so I stuck with music. I honestly believe I'm not one of the best musicians, not even one of the better musicians out there, but which is why I told you earlier, I feel so blessed to be in this space. So yeah, that's one of the greatest things anyone could ask for, to turn what they love doing into work, into a profession. And no, I do not have free time because all of this takes up my time. And when it comes to what I want to do from here on, I'm going to work on the ecosystem for creative people. And my companies are also based on simple principles of breaking stereotypes of who a musician is and who creative people are. And generally when you think of a musician, you think drugs, sex, rock and roll, right? So we're trying to sort of break away from that stereotype, saying that musicians stand for so much more.
Exactly.
And in India, everyone's so terrified if they hear that the person's becoming a painter, the person's becoming this and that, and the parents get all, oh my God, I've lost my child. So, because of what the industry's portrayed to be.
Yeah, the stereotypes behind
Exactly.
it.
So, but the stereotype is true, but at the same time, there is a part of the industry that is very different. So we want to be in that space where the people are different. So all my businesses are based around that, and hopefully that is my end goal somewhere down the line.
All the best with it.
Thank you.
And yeah, do you have any inspiration? I'm sure you might have been inspired by a lot of people.
So my inspirations, yeah, exactly. It's a lot of people put together. It's not just one person. Like I said, in school and college. In college, it was Sunil Chandi, who was the choir director, and he's a fantastic musician and bassist. Growing up, seeing all the live musicians like the Galij Gurus, who are also from Christ,
Yes.
Thermal and a Quarter, who are also from Christ. There's Swaratma, Raghu Dikshit project. There's Bryden and Path that's come up recently.
Yeah.
They're mind-blowing. So many people. Okay, there's my mother, who's one of the most hardworking people I know. She brought me up as a single mother. My father passed away when I was really young. And
So
she
sorry.
paid for everything. Like, she built the house she took care of my brother and I, gave us an education, paid for everything. So that's a lot, right? Coming from a single parent. She's one of my inspirations. There are lots of humble people that keeping me in check. There's this fantastic artist named Sarvana Dhanapal, who I'll introduce you to sometime. Fantastic young chap. He's about 30 plus, and he's traveled the world. And he comes from such a humble beginning, where his mother used to sell bananas on the side of the street. And she put him through a government education, and then he went on to get a scholarship in St. Joseph's College. He finished his schooling, he finished his college, he finished his degree, then his post-graduation in social service. So his post-graduation in social services, and now he's a huge artist, performing artist. Traveling the world.
I would love to meet him.
Yeah, definitely. And he's such a humble personality at the end of the day. And he recently bought his mother a house, which happened, I think, last year. Yeah, he bought his mother a house, which is such an amazing thing for someone like him. And his humility and his kindness has always inspired me. And it's difficult for me to name all the people who inspire me, but there are a lot of people. And I take bits and pieces of everyone, squish them together. And hopefully it helps me become a better person also.
Okay, that's nice to know.
Yeah.
That's really nice to know. You have a lot of great stories, a lot of great people around you.
Oh,
to be honest.
if we go into the stories, we're going to be here for weeks, and I'm going to have a bad throat at the end of it. So let's not go
we
there.
don't have that time either.
We don't have the time. We don't have the time. Yeah. But my life has thankfully been filled with a lot of amazing things, and yet at the same time a lot of bad things. But I think the bad things are what make us.
Exactly.
At the end
There
of the
has
day.
to be a balance.
Yeah, there has to be a balance.
So let's start with our quickfire round. Guitar or beatboxing?
None.
Oh, okay. Stage or studio?
Stage.
Thought so.
Yeah.
What would you do if you woke up as a woman?
What would I do if I woke up as a woman? What? That's actually a good question. So it can't be rap because I
You'll
have
be
to
Vineetha.
think about it. Exactly. No, a lot of people call me Vineetha.
Oh, okay.
So, in fact, when I go to a lot of shows, they'll be like, Yara no, Vineetha, baile. So they're like that. So I'm quite used to that. What will I do if I wake up as a woman? Think. Say I can't say something smart. Can't even say something real because I never thought about that. I don't know. I really don't know. Wow. I should think about this more. I think I
You
pass.
can't think about it.
No, I'll have to pass because nothing's coming to my brain because that's a very good question. I didn't think you'd get me. Okay, you got me.
Okay, cool. Most annoying part of your job?
The most annoying part of the job is also the most interesting part of my job, which is to deal with people. Yeah, I can't stand dealing with people, some people, but yet at the same time, some people are so beautiful. It's so amazing having conversations with them. And yeah, so people.
So every time you meet someone, do they say, hey, beatbox a little?
Yeah. And I tell them, pay me. And that's when they go, ha ha ha, okay, no, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Superpower you wish you had?
I have dreams of me flying all the time. I hope people out there with psychology do not analyze this because I'm a psychology student, by the way. Yeah.
So there is a theory of, yeah,
there's
they
a background,
do.
yeah, Freudian, all this and that.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think fly. I would really like to fly.
Everyone says the same thing.
Yeah. I figured everyone says the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a very stereotypical thing, but yeah, fly.
Even I would love to fly.
I know, right? So cool.
Possible, like a supergirl.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. Are you single?
No, I am not. Not single. Not anymore.
Okay.
I used to be for a long time, but not anymore.
The secret behind your long hair.
Secret behind my long hair. I think good genes, number one. Thank you, daddy, mummy. Good genes. I don't take care of it too much. It's just there. And I haven't cut it for about a year. I keep trimming it on a monthly basis, but I don't cut it.
Biggest turn off?
Biggest turn off. People who cheat. One of my biggest turn offs. People who lie, people who cheat.
Yeah.
One of my biggest turn offs ever.
Yeah.
People
I
who are
get that.
not straightforward. You know, the ones who are always beating around the bush.
Most embarrassing moment?
Oh my God. I actually know the answer to this one. It's also the one of the funniest moments of me on stage. So I'm in a show, a really big show, about 1,000 people in the audience. And the show, like every other Indian event, is delayed, right? Because Indians love to show up late. Indians love to start things late. So I reached the show. I'm waiting for 3 hours. I'm supposed to be on stage by the 3rd hour, but it turns out I have to wait for another 2 hours. I'm backstage. And then finally I go into the restroom. I'm washing my face, and then I go to pee. It's a normal bodily function. I have to go and pee. While I am peeing, I suddenly hear the MC saying, ladies and gentlemen, the next person is going to step up on stage. He's been across India, he's done these many shows. It's like, I've done those many shows. And he's like, he has a unique talent. I have a unique talent. And so he started reading out my profile. I'm like, oh crap. And I run quickly, wash my hands, take a towel, drying my face because my face is also still wet. Chuck that thing and I'm starting to run. And there's a tech guy who's backstage, right? He's the guy who gives you your mic. He switches on your mic, gives you your mic in your monitors. I take the mic and say, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, Vineeth Vincent. And at that time I'm running. I take the mic from the tech guy. I'm not even using my in-ears. I'm using the on-stage monitors. Running on stage, I say, hello everyone. And as I'm running on stage, something feels really off. So I'll say, I'll be right back, and I run back off stage. So I enter on this side, it's a huge stage, right? Enter on this side, say hi to everyone, run off that side. And so as I was running on stage, I left my zip open. You see. So a lot of cool air was going inside from the AC in the auditorium. And so it felt a little off, and I knew I forgot to lift my zip up. But no one noticed, right? No one noticed. I went backstage. Yeah, I went backstage, and I ran backstage, I put my zip up and I look up, and a bunch of these dancers are sitting there and looking at me. It happens, and then I turn and I come back on stage.
Totally
Yeah.
embarrassing.
It's funny. It's embarrassing, yes, but I still find it funny. I found it funny
It is-
on the spot.
Yeah, it is funny. For me, it is very funny.
Exactly.
I've been laughing.
Exactly. So I come back on stage, and the crowds look at me like I'm weird. Little do they know I'm actually weird, so I start having a conversation with them, and they figure out, okay, this guy's an idiot, so it's fine. Of course, he did something stupid in the beginning, but they didn't know what actually happened. But it's a good story. It's a good story to tell.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
A very good story to tell.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
This happened
So-
towards Yelahanka. There's a
Aha.
huge auditorium there. I forget the name of the place, but yeah, it happened there.
Okay. All right, moving ahead.
Moving on.
Who would you go on a date with? Priyanka, Deepika, or Katrina?
Ah, wow. I never ever thought I'd be answering questions like this in my career. But I did-
Welcome to YTV.
Really? Okay. I've never thought about that before, and I don't know them, so I don't watch TV.
Okay.
I don't watch movies.
Oh.
Let's
okay,
keep
that
that in, actually. Don't
Ah.
watch movies. Don't watch TV. Yeah. So
That is surprising.
yeah, I don't own a TV, so I think women.
Okay, let me put it this way. Who would you go on a date with? Miley Cyrus,
Oh.
Selena Gomez,
Oh.
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga for the conversations, I think, because I think her opinion on things might be quite interesting.
Aha.
She seems like a very interesting woman.
Okay.
Definitely her.
So Lady Gaga
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is. Heaven or hell, where would you end up?
Oh, I hope heaven. Fingers
You
crossed.
hope heaven.
I hope. Okay, everyone says heaven, I'm pretty sure, right? No?
But would it be boring?
No, I prefer heaven. I'd honestly prefer heaven. I wouldn't want to go to hell. Yeah.
Okay. What's your take on feminism?
Feminism, good question. I come across this on a daily basis, in fact. I think the new age feminism is slightly questionable. There are lots of extremists who are portraying themselves to be feminists. I believe.
The feminazis, as they are
Yeah.
being called.
So I believe I'm a feminist. I believe very largely that I'm a feminist. People ask me this question in different sort of ways. It's difficult for me to answer, number one, because I'm not a woman. So it's so difficult for me to give my opinion on women's matters, right? But it's simpler for me to find a balance between what they want and what society is giving them right
Yeah.
now. I truly believe that women in India especially are not given as much importance as they should be given. So I definitely am for feminine movements, but not for new age feminism that's being portrayed as
Yeah,
feminism.
yeah.
Because it's just like talking about how people have a fear of Islam, right? People are terrified of Islam these
Yes,
days because of some extremists.
Yeah.
Same thing with Christians. There are extreme Christians and there are your good Christians.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to put your foot down on certain things without scaring a bunch of people away these days, because there are people out there who are making it look bad.
Yeah.
So I really think movements like these are required, but at the same time you need to understand that men need to be involved in this process. And it's not just women, because it's not just women fighting for women's rights. There are also men.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like me, because there are men who are doing so much more compared to me in this movement. So
Yeah.
I think it's important, but at the same time there's a change that is required and a balance that is required.
All right. So that was quickfire. Yay!
We're done. We're done.
But you still did answer quite a few questions.
Which is?
like a couple of questions. What would you do if you woke up as a woman?
What would I do as a woman? I would work. It's so bad. So bad. I don't know. I should actually think about this. I've never thought about this
wow.
before. It's weird how I've never thought about this before. Yeah. And the other thing was the Priyanka, Deepika and who?
Katrina.
Katrina. So I have no idea about Katrina. I
Okay.
think I've seen her face a few times on billboards, this and that.
Uh-huh.
But Deepika and
Priyanka.
Priyanka,
Come
I
on,
knew that.
Those
I knew
two
that.
are international. now.
Exactly. So I think these two women are doing an amazing job on international level. Of course, there's so much of negativity towards these women right now. They should do this, they should do that, and people always have their opinion. But the funny thing is, these people are not doing anything, right? The people who always have an opinion are the ones who just talk all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So big ups to these two women, because I'm seeing them everywhere I go these days. And they seem like very confident in your face women.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing that they're there right now. So, yeah, big ups to them.
So you still don't know who you would
No,
go
I
next?
don't. I don't know them as people. I've never followed their conversations. Although, who's that woman who did that? I love the sun. I love the outdoors. I love the fun, but no chip chip. But no chip chip. There's that ad. She does that little dance with that little doggy, and no chip chip. So she's no.
idea.
That's the only thing. So it's either it's one of these women. I can't believe I don't know who. I can't differentiate between the two of them, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have to be honest with you because I don't watch their movies. I don't watch their ads. But yeah, but they're doing some amazing work.
All right.
Yeah.
So, what would you like to say to people who are trying to make it big in music industry?
Stop trying to make it big in the music industry because that's a fake idea of success. That's not success. Success is going home happy at the end of the day to your little doggies at home and to a cup of tea. Do what you love doing because it's worth doing it. Simple as that. Stop trying to make it big. If you're going to make it big at the end of it while you're doing all of this, very good, but
That
that's not
is
the point.
just like a byproduct, and
It is.
that shouldn't be the first
It's not the
primary
focus.
goal.
It's
Yeah.
not the focus.
Why don't you try stand-up comedy?
I should.
I've been cracking up so much sitting next to
So
you.
a lot of people have been telling me to actually do stand-up for a long time, and I think I don't think stand-up is for me. I think I'm funny, but I don't think I'm funny enough, and I don't want it to become a job, because when you take something like that and make it a job, it changes the approach to things, and I think that might mess up my head. So I'd
Yeah.
like to stick with
So just
just be myself.
the weird.
I'm extremely weird. I'm very weird.
Thanks a lot for being on the show.
My pleasure.
I'm pretty sure our viewers would love to watch you.
Definitely.
And yeah, thank you.
Let's get them
Thank
all
you.
involved in a show someday. Yeah.
Okay. So guys, that's a wrap up. Here is Vineeth Vincent.
Vineeth Vincent.
Yeah, Vineeth Vincent. He's a beatboxer. Go check out his shows and go attend his shows. He's an amazing guy.
In the words of Danish Seth, peace.
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 Peace. Danish Seth.
Thank you. Stay tuned for more fun and frolic only on your channel, YTV.